Let's go on an adventure. Again.
It's been exactly 316 days since I was last at Cerro Gordo, and I've been getting that itch. I've been getting that feeling. I want to go back. Avery reached out to me and asked me if I was going to be going down before winter. I hadn't planned on going back this year, but I've been wanting to go back, if that makes sense. Luckily, I had some time off from work coming up. It was Labor Day weekend, and work wasn't super busy, so I was able to take off a few extra days. Much like the trip last year, I packed all my stuff, grabbed all my tools, and I hit the road. The only difference this year was that it was a little bit earlier in the year, so it wasn't as cold as it was last year. I did run into a little bit of a hiccup once I reached Yosemite. I apparently was supposed to get a reservation in order to enter the park, even if I was just trying to get to 395. I was informed by the park ranger that I needed a reservation in order to come through, and that if I didn't have one, I was gonna have to wait till 4 o'clock to get through. It was around 2:30 and I was a little bit bummed out because I wanted to get to Cerro Gordo to see the sunset. I decided to make the best out of the unfortunate situation. I went down a winding road and I was able to find a nice place to park. I was able to walk around and enjoy some of the scenery that Yosemite has to offer. Finally, around 3:45, I headed back towards the entrance of Yosemite where the park ranger let me through. After driving through Yosemite, I hit Interstate 395 and headed south. Before I knew it, I was making my way through Bishop, Independence, and finally Lone Pine. These small towns have a warm, welcoming feeling to them. You see American flags everywhere. If you stop into any stores or gas stations, everyone's polite and is eager to help. It's a good feeling. It lets me know that I'm close. As I passed through Lone Pine, I realized that I wasn't going to be able to make that sunset that I was trying to get to. I ended up getting to Keeler roughly around 7:30. I finally met up with Avery and we packed up all of my stuff into the small Toyota Tacoma and we hit the road. The dirt road, at least. We headed up the mountain, which at night seems sort of calm. We finally made it up to the bunkhouse and I got settled in and went to sleep. The second day started off with walking over to the Gordon house and making some coffee. It's honestly one of the things I was looking most forward to, just because it's so peaceful up there. Early in the morning, nice cold crisp air, enjoying a cup of coffee. After my coffee, I went and I checked out the animals, which are all doing very well. They're eating good. After my walk, I hopped in the little Tacoma and I drove up to Steven's house, which is where my first project was going to begin. Since there was no big, huge project for me to work on, I kind of took the role of handyman for this trip. I pretty much just asked Avery and Steven, if there was anything specifically that they wanted, to get fixed or needed help with. Funny enough, both of them mentioned that their doors had a bunch of issues. Steven's more so than Avery's, but regardless, it was kind of funny that both had some sort of door issue. So with Steven's door, it pretty much had to get fully taken apart. I had to remove all of the trim and even the frame because nothing was level, and that's part of why he was having so many issues with it closing. And it was rubbing on the floor. It was kind of a lot, so I initially thought I was just gonna kind of trim some stuff out and be able to fix it, but it turns out it was kind of way bigger problem than I anticipated. So I kind of spent a little bit of time working on Steven's door, getting it all taken apart and fixing what I could, and then finally putting it all back together. It ended up turning out pretty good. It opens and closes smoothly now, and it doesn't have a huge amount of gaps like it did before. I added some door stop all the way around it and put some spray foam between all the cracks and whatnot, so it should be pretty decent for winter.
That is it for the door. Opening and closing, nice, snug. Locks. We added that little piece just because that's a little bit flimsy. The only thing that this needs now is a door sweep. We don't have one, so they'll just have to get one whenever they get a chance. But other than that, this little project is done. I think it came out pretty good. Try to keep the aesthetic the same. There's a few things that I had to change, but overall, I think it looks good.